back at the beginning of April, union organizers at an Amazon warehouse in Bessemer, Alabama, lost the vote to form a union by more than 1,000 votes. But as I told you at the time, it's not over. And there's a reason I said that. If you followed my videos covering this effort in Alabama, the amount of union busting activity that Amazon was engaging in was just insane. And it clearly violated labor law, which, now that the NLRB has looked into it, indeed, it did violate labor law. So here from NBC, Amazon violated labor law in Alabama union election, labor official finds. Workers at a warehouse in Bessemer voted against joining a union in April, but union officials immediately claimed the company had illegally meddled in the voting process. Now, as I'll get to, this isn't the last step. So there still may be, there may now be a revote here in this union process, in this union effort, but has to go through one more step, as we'll get to in a second. But first, let me detail exactly what the National Labor Relations Board found when going over this case. So this posted by Alex Press, saying the NLRB hearing officer's report is out, says there were a lot of problems with Amazon's actions, but the key issue was the company's unilateral decision to install a mailbox outside the warehouse's entrance. So I'll link to this below the video. You can read through their entire statement here. But the mailbox was a major piece of it. So as I said at the time when I covered this, Amazon put out told the postal service to install a mailbox right outside their warehouse where this union effort was going on. And that mailbox was in the view of Amazon's surveillance cameras. So that combined with the fact that you had Amazon managers continuing, on a daily basis to pressure workers there to ensure they vote no in this union process, in combination with all the anti-union busting, pamphlets they were putting out through text messages, through just pamphlets, through papers. It was an ongoing effort to ensure that they had as many workers there as possible vote no during this process, and essentially let them be known or ensure they know that they're being observed during this entire process with that surveillance camera on the mailbox. So clearly violation of labor code here. And this is why there's likely going to be a revote. But one more step, as I said. So as the Washington Post reports, the recommendation will now move to the NLRB's regional director in Atlanta, which oversaw the election, to issue a ruling. That decision will take several weeks, the agency said. If the regional director upholds the recommendations, the earlier election results would be set aside and a new election will be called. So it still has to go to the regional director in Atlanta, and then we'll find out for sure if there's going to be a revote or not. But this goes to show you that, look, sometimes when the facts are on your side, it actually works out. So even though I said at the time, it's not over, there's still always a doubt. Even though we knew at the time that Amazon was violating labor law, you still have to wait and see how the NLRB is going to rule. Luckily, they looked at the facts and decided that, yeah, Amazon absolutely violated labor law and there should be a revote. Now, one last thing, just to give you some perspective here, some context in terms of Amazon and unions, because there are Amazon unions, but they're in Europe. So in France, Italy, Spain, Germany, all workers there in Amazon warehouses are unionized, and it has benefited them in a variety of ways. So this from the Seattle Times back in April of last year. In Germany, unions are pushing Amazon.com to prevent warehouse workers from congregating like bunches of grapes before their shifts. In Italy, where a COVID-19 outbreak hit Amazon's main logistics depot, unions staged an 11-day strike that ended after the company granted employees an additional 5-minute break to practice better personal hygiene. And what amounts to the most significant pushback yet, a French appeals court on April 24th upheld an earlier ruling ordering Amazon to sell only essential products in the country to protect the safety of warehouse workers. So you see here how unions in Europe have benefited workers there in a number of ways. And this is really just around the pandemic, but I'm sure it's benefited in other ways in terms of conditions in the workplace, in terms of pay, and on and on. So you have here hopefully another shot at unionizing in Alabama. And again, I still think, regardless whether it'll be successful or not the second time around, if it happens, we're still going to see a continued effort in North America to unionize Amazon warehouses and other warehouses, other workplaces where you have these massive companies generating huge profits for everyone at the top of the company. Meanwhile, the workers that are creating all the value continue being oppressed, living or working in conditions that are in many cases disgusting. Amazon workers on their feet all day lack breaks. In some cases, when it comes to the drivers, aren't able to actually have bathroom breaks without missing their scheduled delivery slots. So you have here a situation where you have an incredibly profitable company that can absolutely improve working conditions, have done so in countries where they are unionized, but are continuing to push back against workers in North America because they were given the freedom to do so until they're caught and potentially have to face this vote one more time.